medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I trust and pray that you had a truly awesome weekend, and this week ahead will even be more inspiring and beneficial as we invite you to share with us your first discussion. We're going to show just how proud of them we are. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow, Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be able to show wonderful young people just how proud of them we are, but how much they make us so proud. Well, from the Youth Services Unit, James John Miles, thank you very much for joining us, man. How are you today?
I'm doing okay now.
Just okay, man?
Yeah. Sometimes I say, I'm not doing too bad. That means I'm only one bad. But I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
thanks for asking.
Well, no. And I ask this sincerely because too many times we will ask, and even before the person has answered, we mid-step going elsewhere. You've always been a kind, nurturing person, and to see you and the example, the inspiration, not just through modeling, but actively engaging the young people, it's been good over this last, was it 50 years now?
Almost.
I'm
not that old yet. I'm only 50.
I think from the womb, man. But too much is given us, so much is required. And if we are truly going to allow our young people to find their voice, but we guide them so they don't make too many missteps, it'll be good. So we have a wonderful program, but let's see where it takes us. Talk to us about today's discussion.
Well, today we could be talking about Proud of Them. It's the Billboard campaign that recognizes the positive contributions of young people in the Cayman Islands. And this year we're celebrating our 10th year. We started to put up the billboards in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years later, we're still here, still highlighting the positive contributions young people make between the ages of 10 and 25. And with me today is young Peyton Morrison, who is just over the bottom limit. One of our youngest honorees. I think she's 11 now?
But she was 11 yesterday. She should still be 11 now.
Well, you beat the things change, real fast. But Peyton is one of the youngest honorees ever. Trevor Carmola Jr. was also 11 when he got the Proud of Them honoree. So you can see that the spectrum is spanned, and we have outstanding achievements done by young people from age 10 to 25. Yeah. And we're looking to highlight them as many of them as possible.
Well, through you, I certainly would love very much to engage Miss Peyton and understand more. But if I might just ask, there are many people, just as their own sort of personal ethos, but there are even maybe many in society as a norm. Oh, we don't honor people while they're alive. We don't name a road or a building after them, just in case. I've always had the other view that if you identify somebody, give a deserving accolade, a street name, a building, whatever, then that'll do two things. That'll cause them to constantly try to ensure that their actions are always uplifting and positive, so they don't do anything to dishonor that, so that it'll look negative.
You get your name stripped from a street?
Well, there are some times when we read history, and most times it's the revisionists who want to make things look better. Maybe there are times when things should not have been in the first place, but it doesn't change what has happened. Right. It's about how do we look at it, and without trying to make reparations or apology, we accept that mistakes were made and we'll move forward in a better way. But in this time with our young people, it's all about inspiring and nurturing and saying to them, hey, you know what, you're 11, 12 years old. When you're 100, you have a even more lasting legacy. Right, Miss Peyton?
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm very good.
Well, thank you for coming out. I don't know about you, but if anytime I got to get out of school, it's like, man, I got miss school. Jeez, I don't want to do that. No, do I have to go and miss school and all those classes? That's how you feel too, right? I don't do sarcasm well. But thank you for coming along with us, and talk to us. Tell us if you, Mr. Miles, what should we be asking this year?
Ask her what she was honored for, how she feels.
Can we start there?
Yeah, sure.
See? My Okay.
I was honored for culture, specifically through dance.
No, I not only have to know a little bit more about things as we discussed, but I'm so honored to know that in a community such as ours, I get to even know more about people, because who you thought, oh, she's connected to someone who knows this one. And that's the wonderful thing about our community. We get to see people. Now the dance, is it a dance troupe? Is that the right way? The program you're part of. Tell us about it.
It's a dance company. It's a dance company run by my mom. Dream Chasers came on, and I attended.
Mm-hmm. And knowing a little bit about Dream Chasers, I've seen from I used to call it the middle school hall, and then at the Westbury Primary School field one afternoon for some environmental thing. The group was there, and even though it was an afternoon and it was hot and muggy, being that time of year, the performance on the stage could have been in the best performing arts centers the globe over. And I remember that. So your mom is one of those people that had that passion that and who inspires. Other than her, who else inspires you?
My dad, because he's a dancer too.
See that? Dad's rock, man.
That means she got dance in her blood. She can't get away from that. I don't know how she get away from that if she don't have a pulse.
All right. So with Mr. Jumbo saying that, Miss Peyton, is it because both parents dance that's something that you feel, or is it that's within you and you know that's within you?
It's within me, and I know it's within me.
All right. So you're honored, for culture in particular, for dance. How does that feel when you're, not just rehearsing, but when you come to the stage and it's all choreographed, it's the big night, and you have to perform in front of people? What is that like?
Like before you get on stage, it's kind of nervous, but when the music starts and you're already on stage, you just forget about the audience.
Huh? How do you do that so that I don't be nervous?
By picturing the people that you love in the crowd, or just looking up at the lights sometimes.
You know, John, that is something that many of us learn. You know, you find something. Sometimes it's someone in the audience that helps inspire you. And I'm so glad you shared that. I calculated the probability of what your answer would be, and it was 98.76%. Sure that that's what you would give. But I'm saying that because increasingly we don't appreciate how much, we affect people, negatively especially, but also how positive through our words and our actions. And as Ms. Payton shared, if we're in an audience that is receptive, maybe that's just the family at home encouraging the person in the study or in that pursuit of dance or otherwise, or it's the teacher. But we're human and we have bad days and we get, bad news. The bank call and say, oh, your interest rate going up, and little things that happen that affect us and we don't mean to be. So the program, proud of them, can remind us that we are, in a wonderful place with wonderful young people who deserve to be celebrated.
Yeah, because prior to it, young people were getting too much of a negative rap. Had a lot of negative press, like 2011, 2012. That when the discussion started at the National Youth Commission, and saying, no, and we got too much young people that are doing great things for this to be the narrative that is being said about our young people. Yeah. We started out by highlighting just 12 young people every 6 months. And at first we were saying, boy, at that rate we'd run out quick. I said, no. We got so much young people doing great things. We could do it every month if we want. Yeah. And we would still have a lot of young people. And even this time we had over 100 nominations. Yeah. So I don't think we could ever be short on outstanding achievements that young people have. And many very outstanding performers and performances were not even nominated this time. So we got tons of them.
Yeah, I want to talk about that positive, but if I might, Ms. Payton, we're going to take a break shortly, but if I could ask you first, given what you've seen thus far in life, in your dance, in school, and to what Mr. Jamo was just sharing, do you think young people are looked at positively, or, as he said, given bad press, still today, but even, is it more that we see that it is good, or we as a community only see the bad in our young people? If that's what I could ask you.
I think it just depends on the role models that they look up to, because there are negative and positive role models. Yeah. So I just wish that there was positive role models for the youth to look up to, and then they could find out what their true passion is in life. Yeah. Thank you. And John, you see, you and I surround ourselves deliberately conscious of with the young people that are positive. We try our best not to do anything that would not, anyway, or to be the very best for them. But let's talk about when we come back, how we can use this opportunity to show them our love, show them that, we're there to help them. Man, what a way to start a Monday, for me anyway. When you come back, we're going to show our love and hopefully be able to join a few others in this proud of them. Stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Honey, you and your team have had such a busy schedule. I've ordered Subway catering.
Oh, I love Subway. Did you order the flavor craver and the turkey wrap platters?
I also ordered Fresh Fit Platter for some of the team.
Hey! And Subway's fresh baked cookies?
Yes, even though you seem to get plenty of them.
No matter how big your crew is, keep them going with the great taste of Subway. From customized boxed lunches starting at just $6 to their famous platters. They'll love the taste and you'll love the price. Subway. Eat fresh.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from December 11th through the 16th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 949-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Miller's Plumbing has announced a closing down sale on all plumbing material and accessories. 30% off on all items through December 2023. Miller's Plumbing, located at 194 Dorsey Drive, or call 949-4709 or 916-0751. 30% off on all items at Miller's Plumbing through December.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and thanks to Jambo and the fantastic team, I think, over at Youth Service Unit for spearheading, not just through the National Youth Commission and government funding, but sometimes it's the people who hands in the hearts, not to name drop, but people like Miss Camille, for instance. You see that genuineness in so many, as you call them, the youth workers, who do so much, and we don't always appreciate that. Yes, they go daily above and beyond. It isn't anything that they want, but it would be appreciative if we could show them, hey, not just thanks, but thanks with a genuineness. So proud of them, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, we have Miss Peyton Morris joining us, right? And Miss Peyton, from that, as I was sharing, one of our listeners asking if we could ask you, what does dancing do for you? How does it make you feel? And for what it's worth, I can say to you that many of us appreciate that, and only after, we get to, I don't want to say old, but a few years beyond yours. Wow, it's a good thing that we had someone kept, encouraging us, taking us, making sure, because at that time there are other things that we would want to do. But for you, at this time, what is it like? What does dancing do for you?
It just helps me express myself. When I'm angry, when I'm sad and happy, it just shows on my face when I'm dancing.
It comes right out, huh? Wow. Well, before we continue, John, we have a caller on the line as we go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, Mr. Johan Moxham. Johan Moxham, how are you?
I'm all right, sir. I'm just calling in light of jumped in the car and was listening to the guest you have in the studio. Good afternoon to Mr. Jamo and to sidekick there.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for being so brave and so eloquent and putting yourself out there, because it's not easy jumping on any radio station and sharing your thoughts and your honesty. You know, sometimes people people take your truth the wrong way because we're programmed to you have to be a particular way or else. And just hearing you speak and express yourself, you're a brave young lady, and your future's really bright, especially when you hang out with good people like Mr. Jamo and the youth services team. And that's why I called Sterling. Okay, man, we have too many talk shows that are about, sus, bad mind, politics and all the rest of it. But I was just calling in to say, Mr. James Miles, Mr. Jamo, I just want to say I've known you for a very long time. I've gotten to work with you recently, but you have dedicated your life to youth services, to young people. I don't even know how old you are, but I know you're older than me, so I make you old.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man?
I gotta make sure cut my hair tomorrow.
But I just wanted to say you have been a champion, an ambassador, a mentor for so many young people. You've been involved in putting programs together that have seen the light of day. Proud of them. Is one of them. And I just think that there's a bunch of you, especially those employed in the youth services team, counselors, teachers, a lot of people on this island that really care and get it. Because being a kid is difficult. Being a kid where nobody understands you, or you're struggling to, not a kid, a young person where nobody understands you or is willing to hear you out must be even more difficult. But people like you make it that much easier. And as one man to the next, one Caymanian to the next, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you and your team do. Thank you for all that you've done. And thank you for everything that I know you're going to do going forward. I know you wear many, many hats as a civil servant, but this is your legacy. We put up plaques and awards for everybody else, but the system has to understand, if Johan Moxham can get it, anybody can get it. Jamo, you're an incredible, dedicated father, and then that transfers over to all the other people and the young persons that you work with. So I got mad respect for you, and I just wanted the world to know that, because we got to give people their flowers whilst they're alive, whilst they're employed, because it's people like you that help so many others that we don't talk about. So I just felt compelled to call and tell you that. Sterling, I wish you would do more so I could say the same thing about
thank you.
It's on a Monday, man, so maybe
to God be all the glory, man.
No, but I'll leave you guys there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Continue the good work.
No, thank you very much. And I would almost be inclined to just, if he thinks you're old and I'm older than you, but you know what? Let's focus on what's serious. But I commend Johan for sharing that, because, like he said, in closing, we give flowers while we can. And this is what I was sharing earlier with respect to the naming of places and recognizing not just the older person, but people like Miss Payton while they're still young to inspire. Before I ask her, John, what do you think about Johan's comments and this program in particular?
Well, I thank him for him. And that in essence is recognizing what I do, but I do it for the glory of God. So to God be all the glory, and as long as He give me strength, I'll be pouring it out.
All right. So Miss Payton, you share with us, but if I might ask, and I want to be guided by you, if we look at young people now and we are positive with them, we help to guide, we provide our wisdom and our counsel or instruction or whatever provision and protection that we can offer, I say prayerfully, to you, does that in your mind help to make sure that our young people, if they're hearing that, they'll do better, they'll be more inclined to stay on a better path, to see the future in a more positive way? Or will it be that, in your mind, how does that impact them?
I think it will make them more confident and more motivated to keep on trying, and so they could reach specific goals in their life that they want to accomplish.
And thank you. And John, what we say from the mouth of the babes, we see the wisdom. Scripture, you'll tell me which one it is, don't let them despise you because of your youth.
It's in Timothy.
Yeah. Is it 2 Timothy? 1 Timothy? It's in Timothy somewhere, right?
I think it's 2 Timothy chapter 4.
Okay. I I never learned that way, but yeah, I remember that one, right? And the reason why I say that is that consciously for today's discussion, I decided to seek out some research that talked about positive versus negative words in particular, and not just the physical environment. So if you put a wonderful healthy plant into an environment and turn up the heat, it probably won't last very long unless it's a plant that likes heat.
Unless you're cooking
it. But even in too much heat. But what's interesting, the words to plants, even songs, but the words to people, especially young people, can change their mindset and the way they feel. Words, and that led me to this, that Fufu nursery sign they used to have, sticks and stones and whatever.
Break your bones, but words will hurt.
I'm convinced now that I was right then, and even more so. Words are powerful, right? Words can inspire. You'd rather hear good words or bad words about you?
I would rather hear good words, but sometimes I have to know the truth.
Man, this young lady is wiser than many. And here's my script. But the truth, sometimes we say to someone, adults to adults sometimes, even probably sadly, friend to friend, when we say, well, tell me the truth, and they tell you the truth, but the way they tell you, and they say, well, I was only telling you the truth. We can tell the truth, but can we tell it in love as opposed to malice?
Yeah, I think you can. Maybe just the tone.
The tone, right? See? And again, your parents will say to the child something, and it's the truth. They want you to. The reason why you're going to get up early to go practice, or you need to go to bed early because you've had a long day or you have a long day. They don't force it on you. They guide you. So if I can, I'll be careful because I look at advice as a parent. Sometimes with our children, we see that they want to do this, but they don't want to do that. They like it this time, but they don't like it that time. And sometimes they feel like, oh, I can't wait to get there. And other times they feel like they're being dragged. Or is that only in, my household? Is that the same for you?
No.
No? You got it all the time, right? Happening. No problems, right? She represents well. Her mom is going, I don't think so. No, I want to do that too.
I think for many occasions, young people are told to do stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't know that you like curry chicken unless you try it.
Yeah.
Right? So if we feel to say that curry chicken is the best thing for you, we could try to as a decent parent, you can try to force them towards curry chicken.
Yeah.
And then if they don't like it, then you try something else. But
right.
And I think far too often we give up on young people before you roll out the buffet. And if you don't roll out the buffet for them, and I mean, it's costly.
Yeah, right.
To give them so many different options, right? But that is a lot cheaper than them being incarcerated.
I like
a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah, I like your analogy. So, with that, we allow the young child to try this and that, and then the next thing, and keep helping them to find their path? Or do we say, you know what, you're going to be this, and that's it? No options. Which would be your preference?
Make them keep trying it, because you just never know what you can achieve.
Okay. But what about if the young person says, and we're going to take a break shortly, well, I don't like this, and I feel like I'm being forced, and, well, maybe that's not the best tone, but, they're resistant and a little bit hesitant, reluctant to do that. What do you do as the parent, the coach, the teacher, to say, okay, fair enough. We're trying to get you to find, your passion. The child doesn't want to do it, but you as a parent think you know better. What do we do?
I think maybe like the parents or the coaches, they have to sit down and talk with the child to find out what the child wants to do, and maybe make them try what they want to do and see if it's good for them.
All right. So when I grow up, then there's hope for me. Okay. All right. We're going to take a break now. I think we got some more join us, hopefully. All right. And when we come back, I hope I say this with all the love and respect. We are truly proud of them. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And as Johan walks on this call, I think he set the stage perfectly for us as the adults, recognizing the good works of others and joining, helping not just to celebrate, but also helping to facilitate through us contributing whatever time we have, whatever talent, whatever treasure. And it doesn't matter that there's an agency within the government called the Youth Services Unit. There still needs to be meaningful work, meaningful people with consciousness and a genuine heart.
Yeah, we just have a small part of the youth movement.
Yeah.
The majority is done in the community, and a lot of those are being highlighted through the young people that are honored, and I'm proud of them. We have some from Girl Guides and some from Key Club and from different youth serving organizations who we get to highlight their program as well. By honoring the young people who have been through their program.
Right. Well, joining Miss Peyton
is
Chloe. You want to do an introduction of Chloe?
Sure. Chloe's like my daughter.
He says with such pride.
Oh yeah, I told her already. I love her like my blood flow through her veins. So, and Chloe used to host Youth Flag. So, We go some ways back.
Yeah. I remember walking through the studio.
Yeah.
And the first day she came in, was like, where's there?
I was there.
And then the last time she came in, like, get away, I need to get my chair.
That's right. The hot seat is the one I want. Chloe's been recognized for her academics. She is an outstanding individual that I'll allow everyone else to talk about.
Yeah. Welcome, Miss Chloe.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be on that side of the mic?
It's nerve-wracking.
Different, huh?
Yes, sir. Very different.
All right. Well, if you would, as much as you want, tell us first off about you. I mean, who is Chloe?
So I'm 18 and I'm from the beautiful district of Bawden Town. I currently work at Greenlight Re and I'm a past student of Clifton Hunter High School and UCCI and Bawden Town Primary.
You hear that?
Linkage.
And then in hosting Youth Flex, if I might ask, I've said this to John Moore that that sort of September school term start, when the cohort first comes in, you can see by Christmas a different confidence. By June, by the end of the school year, and then they happen to do it again. Is that true? You grow. What does it do for you? That sort of experience.
I believe Youth Flex has taught not only me but all of us so many life skills. Firstly, being communication. Mm-hmm. I still am shy, but
me too.
I was very shy when I first started. I didn't like the idea of just talking and not knowing who was listening, mm-hmm. or what they would think on the other side, or how I would come across to others. But over time, my confidence grew and I learned different communication skills. I learned how to talk to people. I think the word is interpersonal skills I should use. It taught me different perspectives, being able to speak to different individuals. So we spoke to people from Alex Ponton Foundation. We spoke to teachers. We spoke to people from
mm-hmm.
the Cayman culture. We spoke to so many different people, and it taught us about different things that were going on, because I believe that if I wasn't in Youth Flex at the time, I definitely wouldn't have known about many activities that were happening on island.
Right. And what's interesting, sometimes we, even casually in a conversation, we start talking, and without realizing it, we're talking over the other one. And it happens in interviews, even the so-called professionals in, modern society, somewhere else that, is not as primitive as we're able to be. But you don't know how to manage that. You don't know how to make sure everybody gets to a point, right?
Yes, sir.
And that works out. If I would say under mine, respectfully, there's just a 7-year difference between you and Miss Payton. At this time in life, 7 years is almost like 7,000 in a sense. Your experiences, what you anticipate later on, what you've seen. In 20 years' time, 7 years is, almost like you're the same age. 20 years later, well, you are definitely the same age then. That difference of 7, how do we get our people to appreciate that in the school, if I might through, that 13-year-old and 18-year-old, that 11-year-old and that 18-year-old, but in the wider community, how that interaction can be more of a nurturing big brother, big sister, as opposed to what, and the word unfortunately has become a cliche, the bullying, the intimidation, the whatever else. Help us to understand how we make that interaction more positive.
I think it starts not only with the older person, but with the younger person, knowing the type of crowd you want to be associated with.
Mm-hmm.
Because naturally they're going to be positive individuals at the 18 age,
mm-hmm.
at the 18 years old age, and then they're going to be people that aren't doing the right thing or what you would want to follow.
Okay.
But being a young person, being around 11 years old, you need to know what it is you aspire to be in life. I think that decision starts from early, and I think that's around the age it should start. Mm-hmm. And I think you need to find positive role models in life, not only at 18, but even adults way older than that. So you need to know the crowd that you want to be involved in, because as my grandmother would say, show me a company and I'll tell you who you are. So if you, as a 11-year-old, want to hang out with people that are doing wrongs, naturally when you get older, you're going to be doing wrongs.
Right. So then what I'm hearing you say then is that sort of 18-year-old or that older person, you need to be conscious and deliberate and want to be a positive example, not just for your peers, but for the younger. With that then, if I might ask to you and then to Ms. Payton, that 11, 12-year-old, as is probably the 18-year-old, you want to hang out with big people company, you want to be in an older company because you want to be doing what they're doing, right? Whether right or wrong. How do we ensure that that example that we set as the 18-year-old or the 48-year-old for that younger person is a positive one and uplifting? And then to, Ms. Payton, to make sure that we can discern good company from bad company.
I think being older, you need to know that there's certain things that you can and cannot do around someone in different age groups. So things that you could say or could do around a 17-year-old that would know right or wrong, you can't do around an 11-year-old that might not be able to tell if this is something that they should or should not be doing. Okay. And same thing as a 48-year-old.
Exactly. I mean, I tell people that older person, in the world of sort of the professional, that person's a mentor. And break the word down. That person's an influence. Is it good or bad? Is it instructive? So with that, Ms. Payton, as somewhat, we want to be in big people company, as our grandparents would say. But how do we make sure that as a younger person that we're looking, as Ms. Chloe shared, to good examples so that we can follow that page? You shared earlier, we need to know and have more positive role models. How do we identify them and make sure that we're making the right choices?
I think the longer you interact with them, you can observe and see what they do, and then you will know if it's right or wrong. So I agree with what Miss Chloe said.
Oh, Miss Chloe, I tell you, boy. I'm sorry, Miss Chloe. But Mr. Jamo, this is, in the Cayman context, and I don't say
getting it for the first time.
Yeah, it's not happening, and that's cultural, right? That's who we are.
That's it.
We should not take for granted, and I recognize that we're seconds away from close, but we'll have more discussion. That thing that we all did and understood, whether it's publicly or privately, prayer, subscribing to scripture, train up a child in the way he or she should go, and that's maybe something we need to be more mindful of.
Yeah, and I think you can easily do it by setting an example yourself. I mean, all of the great young people are modeling great adults. So let's be a great adult and help young people make a easy life just by following, good examples.
Well, thank you very much for that, right? And perhaps I'll say this and you will meditate on it, and if it's wrong, you'll always, as you do, offer good counsel. But we, the adult, the parent, the coach, the teacher, the head of whatever, let's ensure that we're responsible. Let's ensure that our community holds us accountable, and any missteps and ill behavior, just because someone has a title in a position don't mean that they be all and end all. There's sometimes just a mask hiding, a menace. But so it be. So Jamo, final thoughts, my friend?
Well, I'm a firm believer that things rise and fall on leadership. And leadership is important. And everybody has a quality or a level of leadership within themselves. So even if you lead in yourself, or you lead in your family, or you lead in a group or a department, set that example and have everybody else follow.
Yeah, man. It is that thing that we must do always. Ms. Chloe, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And as a host, you're just as effective as a guest, so thank you.
Thank you.
And to Ms. Payton, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Oh, and if you want to see their billboards, Chloe's billboard is at Guard Hill in Bordentown, and Peyton's billboard is in West Bay by the fire station. They're beautiful billboards. You can check them out, take pictures with them. If you want to find out their stories, go to youthservices.ky, and you can see their biographies and videos there. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks again, man. We'll have more conversations. So, indeed, an awesome week.
Ashley is about to call in.
All right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
293 key management personnel across government and social media earn an average of $154,000 per year. This according to remuneration of the Cabinet, Judiciary, MPs, and key management personnel within the civil service in 2022. It's a public interest report issued by the Office of the Auditor General today. We'll have more tonight at 6. In international headlines, a Qatari foreign ministry spokesman says the Israel-Hamas truce is to be extended for 2 more days. An agreement has reportedly been reached to extend the truce. Qatar, along with Egypt, has been the key mediator in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. The announcement comes on the final day of a 4-day truce between the warring sides. Japan and Vietnam today agreed to strengthen their security and economic ties in the face of China's growing influence in the region. The Japanese Prime Minister and Vietnamese President held talks in Tokyo and agreed to broaden their security cooperation, work on defense equipment and technology transfers, and start discussing a new Japanese aid program for militaries of like-minded developing countries in the region. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Harold A. J. Bodden, Certificate of Honor, 1931 to 2014.
J. Bodden contributed to the building of the country literally by paving roads and providing material for homes and office buildings. Among the major projects on which his first company, a heavy equipment firm, worked are Cayman Turtle Farm, Governor's Harbor, Snug Harbor, and Lime Tree Bay. Jay and his brother Hubert own Island Paving Limited, which has carried out such notable work as the runway, taxiway, and apron rehabilitation projects at both Owen Roberts International Airport and Gerard Smith International Airport on Cayman Brac. With his 2 brothers, he donated a parcel of land near Petro St. James to be used as a playground for the Savannah Newlands community. Jay Bodden took pride in volunteering to help keep Cayman clean. He married Mary Diane Nee Henderson, with whom he had 4 daughters and a son who is now deceased.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome and thanks for joining us. And if you've been in banking or anytime breathing within the Cayman community, one of our 2 guests, you'll recognize him immediately. You hear the voice, you'll know him, specifically. Mr. John Lewis, good to see you once again. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. I miss the days of, senior at CNB. That's almost, I don't know, you and CNB is almost one and the same.
Well, I've been with our organization for 35 years and look forward to many more years.
I figure at least another 35. Then you'll be 70. No, but welcome. And I appreciate you allowing me to share that because it speaks to not just the cultural ethos and that strong work ethic, but the commitment, the loyalty, the the two words that go together that sadly sometimes don't seem to resonate as it should, but is epitomized in you, customer service. That's John Lewis.
Thank you. I strongly believe in excellence of service, as without that we have nothing. Many banks compete, whether it's interest rates, whether it's products and services, but at the end of the day, what lets us be outstanding is effective quality customer services.
And that is something that goes just beyond a smile and a handshake. It's kind of way back when we talk about you buy something, but the after-sale service. And that's important. Well, I can ask through you for Miss Camille to introduce herself. You can do it for us, or we can ask. Well, what would you prefer, Mr. John?
I'll do the introduction.
Thank you.
With us today is Miss Camille Gardner.
Hi.
She's manager of Personal Bank and Mortgage Center, and she's stationed at her new K-Puck building in Cayman Bay, which is across from Foster's Food Fair. At our K-Puck building, we offer full-fledged of retail services as well, not just opening bank accounts, but we do offer wire transfer services, purchasing of draft services, lending services as well, online banking services, credit card services. So it's a full variety of retail services, including fixed deposits and checking and savings accounts.
And that's the thing when we look at sort of access to banking. And I almost find that word in this day and age isn't sufficiently encapsulating all that is referenced more and more, especially when we merge the person with the digital domain. To you, Ms. Camilo, being the manager, overseeing that, you got your staff, you got your customer satisfaction, but you're also going to ensure that there's an element of marketing, attraction, and competitiveness that has to come into play. Correct. No easy task, right? Not being an internal champion, right? So tell us, welcome, talk to us, Mom.
Well, we're here today offering our lending products and services. We're offering 100% financing on new vehicle loans. We're also promoting 100% on land loans up to $400,000. We're also offering 95% financing on mortgages. We're also promoting solar panels and Go Green initiatives and credit cards as well. So let me start by speaking in regards to our 100% financing for new vehicles. The term is up to 8 years. The interest rate is fixed at 7% for the first 5 years. Thereafter, it is variable or negotiable, whereby if we're offering another fixed rate at that time, we will advise our customers what that rate will be, our available rate, and they have the option to choose whichever is to their benefit. For hybrid and electric vehicles, we're waiving the commitment fee. And for other vehicles, we're charging a 0.5% commitment fee.
And with respect to the finance, because you do a fixed rate for a defined period, if an individual is able to not just amortize it but repay it within that time, it's beneficial, right?
Yes, they can repay it within the period that it has been granted for.
Would there be any sort of prepayment penalties or other things accruing if the individual is able to make that payment early?
For the car loan, for example, that we're offering up to 8 years, if they repay it within that period, they're not being penalized because they're within the agreed period.
Right.
But if it's a mortgage now and you get a fixed rate and you break that fixed rate term, or you want to make principal payments, we will charge 90 days interest on the principal payment being made.
Is that in lieu of notice or still doesn't matter?
When a loan is granted, we provide our customers with a letter of offer that explains the terms and conditions of the loan. And in that letter of offer, we're very clear with the terms and conditions that speaks in regards to any penalty fees. Now, if a client moves from our institution within 5 years from its inception, we charge 90 days interest on the outstanding balance. Many banks, other banks do the same. And I know of a couple that do up to 6 months as well in prepayment penalty fees. With us, it's only 3 months. But we don't try to dwell on that. We try to dwell on service. That's what it's all about, to keep our customers happy. It all starts from what I would call a student service account. We get you in the door from in the primary schools. when you become 18 years old, what is it you're looking for? It's either funds for tertiary education or you want to purchase a vehicle. When you get back from university, what is it you need? A mortgage. So we're here to assist you as well with your financial needs. And when you reach, like say in your 30s, you're thinking smart and you want to invest. So we also have Cayman National Securities that deals with the purchase of stocks and bonds, precious metal, discretionary portfolio asset management. And we have other sources as well that you can invest in. Some people may think of getting other rental properties to build their portfolio or their nest egg prior to retirement.
Yeah. And from what you're sharing, I'm hearing then having that conversation with your personal lender so that you can understand what sort of real estate portfolio you're looking at, what sort of leverage that you're comfortable and able to afford, not just to life now, but that nest egg would be akin to speaking to your personal physician and say, hey, how am I doing health-wise? What do I need to do to maintain a good quality of life? So having that conversation could be beneficial.
Yes, absolutely. What we do is we offer personalized service where when we meet with our clients, we explain to them what they qualify for. We look at their disposable income, we look at their debt servicing, we look at their credit history of how they repay their existing debts or debts with other banks as well. So there are many factors we look at before we make formal adjudication. With that also being said, we also advise them of if we were to decline them for any reason, what to do, and then come back to us, and we're here to assist them. And I would like to state the keys to keep every customer and serve them through their life cycle.
And that's the thing, if you develop, this is where I believe you and the folks at CMB have helped us to appreciate. It's about a long, loyal relationship. You come in, you may get the parents, the children, and the grandchildren. There are many who are customers from inception and still customers to this day. And many because, John was there. I remember when he started working fresh out of, 50 years later, he's there. I listen to the 15, John. 35 plus 5. It can make it happen, right?
Yes. As a team, we can all soar with the eagles.
Aha. No, that's the VP for personal banking and mortgage, Mr. John Lewis, and of course his colleague, the manager over there, Ms. Camille. If I might ask, Ms. Gardner, when we look at banking, sometimes some of us have that level of intimidation. We know we want the mortgage for our home, for that first home. It's not just the investment property. The more we go, the more comfortable. But that intimidation. So through you and Mr. Lewis, help our listeners to appreciate that it's not as intimidating. What sort of things that we should do beforehand make that interaction more engaging, and so that we come asking the right questions, but leaving with an understanding of what's going to unfold.
Right. So first, we want to ask the customers to actually come in for an appointment, and with that appointment, we determine their qualification. As Mr. Lewis would say, we calculate their debt servicing, what their disposable income looks like, and we tell them or give them a breakdown spreadsheet of what they can look for out there. So it's like a pre-qualification process then to say, okay, you qualify for X amount, you can go ahead and start look for mortgages in that price range. So it's not as intimidated as some people think. It's very easy. It's very straightforward. I mean, the beginning process is very straightforward. So Mr. Lewis.
Yeah. We try to put everything in layman's term because we're bankers and they're not. So we try to make it as smooth as possible for them. So the first page of the loan application form outlines all of the bank's requirements, such as once they're pre-qualified and they've found their property, we will in due course require a copy of the offer to purchase, evaluation on the property being purchased, an employment letter. If they don't bank with us, which we assist all new customers and we welcome them to Cayman National, they would have to provide us with a bank reference as well, in addition to those other documents, a character reference as well.
A character reference as well.
And an address confirmation.
Okay.
Because part of the due diligence process is you must establish an account with us, as has been mandated, and all banks do so as well.
Yeah. And as you said, Mr. Lewis, the idea that, understanding the terminology will help. So we perhaps could get acquainted. There were two sort of words that were used, debt service ratio, two terms, and then one was disposable income. For those of us who may think we know, those of us who don't know, or those of us who do know, let's get confirmation. What is disposable income? How do we determine that? What does that mean?
Okay, first of all, I'll speak in regards to the debt servicing. Debt servicing is calculated based on what debts you have out there. So we factor 5% of credit card limit, even if the balance is at zero, because at any time you can utilize your credit card to its full limit. Should you have any consumer loans, such as a vacation loan, a vehicle loan, it could be a furniture loan or any type of consumer loan, we factor that monthly payment as well. We factor the proposed new mortgage payment. If you have an existing mortgage, we factor that payment as well. We also factor house insurance or strata payment. So we add all those figures up, and what it comes up to on a monthly basis, we divide that into your monthly income. And we try to make sure that the debt servicing stays within 45% of your monthly income, which can also include rental income for other properties. And with rental income, depending on the area, we can factor anywhere from 50 to 75%. Now, coming to the disposable income, we have to make sure after all monthly commitments are met that you have adequate disposable income left. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that should interest rates escalate, you're in a good financial position to meet those monthly payments. And Sterling, you are aware that rates went up significantly since March 2022 by 5.5%. And with that being said as well, we as a bank try to work with our customers who may be experiencing financial difficulties by extending the term. We look at offering fixed rates. We look at how can we make it work.
Right.
It's no fault of their own that rates have increased. So we work with them because these are customers that we want to serve during their life cycle.
And you referenced the debt service ratio at 45%. Is that for all lendings, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a car loan, otherwise? That's the maximum debt service?
Yeah. Thanks for that information. If you don't have a mortgage, we look at a lower debt servicing. If you just have, let's say, you live at home and you're just getting a car loan, we look at, say, maximum 35% debt servicing. However, we do make exceptions if you have a mortgage and other borrowings over 45% if there are adequate disposable income left.
Right.
So it's not casting stone, even though it's a guideline. If you have excellent disposable income and your debt servicing is at 48, 49%, 50%, we will still assist you because you show the ability to repay. Every mortgage is based, number one, on ability to repay. Whilst collateral is good to have as a backup, we're not in the business of real estate, of foreclosure on properties. So it's our job to work with our clients to assist them.
Okay. And with that, you reference rental income being taken into account, 50%, as much as 70%, depending on the area. Can you help us to appreciate, because sometimes those incomes may be heavily discounted, you have a band. What would determine an area that would say 50% versus an area, say 75% when the rental income? What are those determining factors?
What we look at where there's a high demand for rental, a lot of persons don't want to be in traffic. So many people are looking for properties in Georgetown, 7 Mile Beach. West Bay has done extremely well, I would say, in the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah. And they have done well, but a lot of persons are moving in that direction as well.
Too many, but sorry.
So let's say from Prospect area up to West Bay, we factor 75% of rental, including South Sound. There's such a high demand. We know that the population of Cayman has grown to over 85,000 persons. So people are getting smart. They may rent for a short period and then they purchase property.
Yeah. And this is where I'm glad that you helped us, because there are some of us who are looking, as you share, making a nest egg, will buy, let's say, an apartment, for instance, and we'll live that for 3, 5, 10 years. And then we can rent that, move into the home somewhere else. and build that portfolio. The later on, mortgage is repaid. There's your monthly income from now. What was the mortgage payment is helping you to live for the short-term sacrifice and long-term gain.
That is correct. And we see that daily where people will purchase a startup home. And then when their income increases and they're in a better financial position, they purchase a bigger home to live in and rent out their existing property. And again, that's building their nest egg for retirement.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you helping us to not just become more familiar with banking and terminology, but to get, especially now with interest rates being what they are, with being globally, some of the potential turmoil in the financial markets, but even the geopolitical landscape. John Lewis, man, he speaks to the issues. Could I then ask, you referenced the inclusion of house insurance and also strata. So let's take the strata, for instance, in calculating their debt service. We know person's income is X, they've got, this loan payment, this payment, the 5% of the credit card, even if they have, as you said, they paid off every month, but they got a $5,000 limit, that 5% still comes in just in case. Things for people to consider. So in asking that, the strata insurance, some people's strata could be $500 a month, some people could be $1,500. That plays significantly into their ability to borrow.
Yes, it does. And we make that part of our criteria from the opening stages or from actually the interview stages. We factor that payment towards debt servicing because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that they can afford the debt. So whatever that monthly strata payment is or monthly house insurance, that is considered. However, if there is extreme hardship, the bank will make exceptions and add it on to the mortgage over the remaining term. Because at the end of the day, especially from June through the end of November is hurricane season. We want to make sure all of our clients are adequately insured so that they and the bank are not at risk. But we make sure we also factor that they can afford it up front before the loan is also approved.
Okay. We do have an opportunity to join a caller who's calling in. I invite you to, put on those wonderful headsets that we've invested in. Mr. Lewis, you put this one. Ms. Gardner, you put the other on. And we're speaking to the VP for personal and mortgage business over at Cayman National with his manager, Ms. Camille. Let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Sterling.
How are you today?
Not so bad. Good afternoon to your guest there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Quick question for your guest. And I need to make a statement on a phone call I received this morning from the BRAC. Does your services extend as well? I just recently joined the show, so I didn't hear the complete breakdown of everything. But does your services also extend over to the BRAC?
Yes, sir, it does. And I would just like to mention that we're offering 100% financing on new vehicle loans. We're doing 100% financing on land loans up to $400,000. I'll get into more detail in that shortly. We're also doing 95% mortgage loan promotions. We're also offering financing for solar panels and Go Green initiatives, such as you can get solar batteries, you can get solar panels, and other factors I will go into later on. We're also promoting credit cards as well, as we offer a full-fledged of service in credit cards.
Okay, that's awesome to know. The
Thank
reason
you.
why I asked if you extend over to the BRAC is because I actually got a call from a gentleman over in the BRAC this morning, Mr. Raymond Scott, and he's in a pretty serious predicament. And I think, Mr. Raymond has been a stalwart citizen of the Cayman Islands, especially in the maritime industry. He looks at a lot of things in terms of helping to rescue people who are stranded at sea and stuff at no cost to the government. However, Mr. Scott expressed to me that he has run into some difficulty in his mortgage payments, and he is asking anyone in the public to render some advice and some assistance if they can, because he definitely needs it. If not, unfortunate, and this would be so sad to see him and his two young daughters and his his wife, is a diabetic, would actually be put out of a house and home before Christmas because of the financial difficulties he has found himself in. And I could see to that, because the BRAC is a place of high prices and little job opportunities. So I'm begging on appealing to the public on behalf of Mr. Scott. If there's anyone out there who could help him in any shape, form, or fashion, please reach out to such a stalwart citizen and render some assistance. Because first of all, he's a stalwart citizen of the Cayman Islands. He's getting up in age. He has 2 young children plus a wife that has medical issues. So it would be really, really sad to see him being put out of a house and home. I don't have all the intricate details of his financial transactions with the bank of his choice, which he told me, but I'd rather not call any names on the radio. But you're calling from your department in CNB. What's your name again, ma'am?
This is Mr. John Lewis. I'm Vice President of Personal Banking and Mortgage Center Department.
And Camille Gardner, Manager at K-Park location in Camana Bay.
Yeah, and Paul, I mean, as I listen to you, I think it's, speaks to the issue of where it's at. Mr. Lewis?
Thanks, Sterling. I would like to state that we as a bank care for all of our clients. I would suggest he visit our Cayman BRAC office and speak to our branch manager, that is Mrs. Xander McLean, to see what we can do to assist him. When our customers are experiencing financial difficulties, we go the extra mile. We look at, can we defer loan payments? Can we defer term? Because sometimes it's extenuating circumstances. For example, it could be medical issues. It could be other serious issues. It could be death in a family.
Unemployment.
Unemployment. That affects someone's income. So our job is to assist wherever we can.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And that's what happened to Mr. Scott. He has suffered some financial difficulties, and it's not with CNB that he is banking with. So I just want to make that clear for the record. I wouldn't say which bank he's banking with, but it's not with CNB that he's banking with. But it's good to know that you all are partial to that, and you're very analytical and community savvy to see every reason and rationale of why these things happen and try to work with the client. That's most touching. I'm hoping that Mr. Scott is listening and maybe he can call in and speak further to his issue. But I'm appealing to anyone who could assist him as well in any way. Please do, because he's one of our stalwarts in the Cayman Islands, and I would hate to see him lose his house, home, and that is something he had in his family for 6 generations. I think he told me from the time the first Scots hit Cayman BRAC, the land was theirs and passed on through 6 generations. Now, that would be very sad to see him lose his birthright like that. But I'll leave you all there to CNB there. I think you're offering some great services, and I look forward to hearing some great feedback from the community on the services that you offer.
Yeah. Hey, thanks very much, man. And perhaps, Mr. Lewis, if it's okay, we'll take the break, and when we return, this is where having that accessible sort of banker, being able to appreciate that there is a commercial aspect to it, not just the dividends, but the commercial viability in order to pay staff and the like, but the partnership, and we're being, as the caller alluded to, being respectful and reflective of what is happening in the community with respect to the dynamic, but also by extension an invitation to be a part of the banking sector as the next GM or who knows. All right, we're going to pause, and when we come back I want to ask about some of the financing options, understand whether there is a timeline. Is this thing open until forever, or does it close off midnight? Join us right after the break.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go, Puritan Cleaners.
It is that time of the year when we at Puritan Cleaners remind our customers of the services we offer on drapes and all household items. Standard prepaid discounts apply. Call us today at 949-7104, Georgetown and Savannah Countryside. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mr. John Lewis for not just the company, but if I might, I think good follows good. And like our earlier discussion with our young people, if we celebrate with them, if we encourage and nurture them, we'll help them to feel appreciated, but also feel inspired and maybe understand, if not consciously then, perhaps inadvertently, you know what, let me try to do good because good follows good. Well, as the VPO of CNB for personal lending and mortgage. I'll get that at some point. I think John has been almost everything over there at some point. And to Ms. Camille, it is a pleasure to welcome you because I think many times we see bankers and banking as this thing, and it has changed so significantly over time. The fact that you still continue to have that personal touch, it's very important. With respect, very much like what we expect of smaller financial institutions like credit unions and I think big corporate entities. They have a mandate. We still have that Cayman touch, right, John?
Yes. We strongly believe in giving our customers alternative choices, whether it's the personal touch of coming into the bank to transact their business transactions or see one of our staff, or whether they want to go on online banking and also perform transactions there as well. Mm-hmm. And we also have digital platforms whereby, you have the smarter ones I shouldn't use the word smarter ones, but it's alternative choices is the word for them to use that channel as well. So at the end of the day, what is your choice is what it's all about.
And the ease with which sometimes to maybe navigate the digital domain versus an email or phone call or a personal visit into the banking center. It depends on what your needs are or where you are at that particular time. You have a number of things on with respect, and we want to hear more about the promotions and owning a piece of property is so fundamental. We'd like to hear more if we can.
Thank you, Sterling. We're currently offering 100% land loan financing up to $400,000, and it is prorated. Anything over that, $400,000 to $1 million, it's at 90%, and $1 million to $2.5 million is at 80% financing, and over $2.5 million is at 75% financing. Up to $400,000, we offer the term up to 15 years to repay the debt, and over 15 years up to 20 years. And the reason we look at is when you purchase a piece of land, you will come back to the bank for financing to build your home. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you. Interest rate as well is negotiable depending on your down payment, and the commitment fee that we charge is 0.5%. For every customer that walks into the bank, we try to get 5 products immediately when they're brand new. And for existing clients, we're trying to extend other services to them as well. You establish a bank account, we offer you a credit card, you get a debit card as well, you get a loan, and you get online banking services, just to name a few. We look at opportunities as well when it comes to fixed deposits because we have some good preferential rates starting in the region of 2 to 4% as well. So coming back to the land loan offering, it's a good package, and also for work permit holders, the down payment is 20%. The term is up to 15 years, and a commitment fee of 0.5%. We try to offer every customer as well a credit card, whether it's a standard card, a gold credit card, a Visa Infinite credit card, or a Visa Business credit card. You may have heard recently that our Cayman Islands government has made some amendments to the stamp duty concession for Caymanians purchasing properties. So they're trying to make it easier when you're purchasing land or getting a developed properties. So when you get your first purchased, what they're doing is giving concessions up to $250,000 for raw land free. So they waive the stamp duty. For values exceeding $250,000 to $350,000, it is prorated. What used to be 7.5% no longer exists in that area. So between $250,000 and $350,000, it is prorated at 3.75%. And for values of land exceeding $300,000, they're also prorating it at 3.75%. You will also note that for mortgages, they've also offered some concessions. Before, it used to be up to $400,000 free for a Caymanian. Now they're offering 500 up to 550,000, because as you know, since COVID, property values have significantly increased. You can't really find anything out there now for like 300,000 and below. So government has played their integral part in trying to make a difference to make it more affordable for Caymanians to obtain their first or second property.
And then as we listen to you, I mean, that sort of incentivizing by the government in terms of home ownership, if it's complemented by the banking sector to allow people, whether it's the first property or whether it's a subsequent purchase, to be able to do that, to own, physically own part of it, it can be crucial. But I think it speaks to us now being educated and understanding how things affect our debt service, so that when we come to the bank, we have that disposable income and we can, not just have a quality of life.
Yes, many persons cannot afford the down payment. So that's where this plays a major role in saving on stamp duty fees. And in addition to that as well, they amended the pension bill that was just recently passed, whereby up to 50,000 can be taken as down payment towards the purchase of undeveloped or developed property. They've also passed whereby up to 50,000 can be taken to reduce a mortgage. And this assists clients who are experiencing hardship. Their loan can then be restructured with affordable monthly payments. Part of the bill that has been passed is also up to 100,000 singly can be taken out by an individual to repay their mortgage if the balance is 100,000 or less. And if it's a joint mortgage, you're allowed 100,000 per applicant, so you can take up to 200,000 to repay that debt as well. It has to be gazetted, so we have to wait until government instructs us further when it will be implemented.
But there is something that we're hoping will be imminent and, managed properly, could be beneficial to that new purchase or utilizing, as you shared, for an existing mortgage. And for that person who wants to acquire a property, 50,000 from their pension. So, Mr. Lewis, we'll take this last break of our segment, and when we come back, maybe share with us, understanding that you had referenced not just land loans, but for those who want to be maybe a little bit more green-centric, as it were, and we know that at one point, with many things, you weren't able to acquire financing for solar panels, but now maybe you can. You tell us how. Yes. All right, please join us after, together with Mr. John Lewis, his colleague over at the Ms. Camille Gardner will join us as well. Stay tuned.
Honey, you and your team have had such a busy schedule. I've ordered Subway catering.
Oh, I love Subway. Did you order the flavor craver and the turkey wrap platters?
I also ordered Fresh Fit Platter for some of the team.
Hey, and Subway's fresh baked cookies?
Yes, even though you seem to get plenty of them.
No matter how big your crew is, keep them going with the great taste of Subway. From customized boxed lunches starting at just $6 to their famous platters. They'll love the taste and you'll love the price. Subway, eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
You don't sound too good there, Bobo.
Yeah, you know how it is. With the kids back in school, every other week they coming out with something
and then I catch it.
Sound like it catch you, but for real, brother, flu season is here and COVID is still around. You gotta stock up on things like medicine, vitamins, and minerals for you and the kids. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
At ValueMed, our pharmacists can help manage flu symptoms and provide guidance on vitamins and minerals to best support you and your family's overall health. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bodden Town, or WhatsApp your questions and prescription refills to ValueMed on Walkers Road at 926-1662 or WhatsApp ValueMed in Bodden Town at 916-5511. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
November is Diabetes Awareness Month. If you are diabetic, taking charge of your health can help prevent other health problems. Speak to your doctor about your A1C levels and check regularly. Take care of your mental health. Eat healthier, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep. Take your medications on time, even if you feel healthy. Take charge of tomorrow by taking steps today. This message brought to you by the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, serving the community for over 5 decades.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks to Mr. John Lewis, one of the VPs over at Cayman National, and being in the sort of the personal mortgage banking center. It's important that people understand that's most of where most of us will interact with the bank. And bring along your manager, Ms. Camille. I think the more we have these discussions, the better acquainted and familiar we will be. And thanks for sponsoring this segment so that we get that information.
You're welcome.
All right. We got a lot to cover in a couple minutes, Mr. John.
Yes. Thank you, Sterling. We also have a mortgage campaign where we're offering 95% financing for new mortgages. The term is up to 40 years for Caymanian, and this campaign expires the 31st of May, 2024. We try to make it very affordable, so when you're young, get a mortgage so that before you retire it is repaid, and you can also get investment properties so that you can live off thereafter. We recently extended the term to 40 years. Some banks will do to retirement age 65. And the reason why we did that is we have customers who have the ability to repay thereafter, Sterling. For example, you may have rental income, you may have pension funds, or income from any other sources, which could be stocks and bonds, precious metal, or a discretionary portfolio that you have. So at the end of the day, it's about the ability to repay. So we can go up to age 70 once you can afford to.
So that 40 years would extend up to age 70 and not beyond?
Yeah, up to age 70.
Okay. Just, you alluded to it, but just for clarity, an individual that comes in at, say, age 50, for argument's sake, and I'll just use that because 50 to 70 is 20 and then you have a 40, would, in order to make the payments within the debt service, would it be amortized over the 40 years with a repayment within 20, or it has to be, how do you work
we
that?
We do make exceptions.
You must have been
That's a good question.
Oh, thank you. Norma said that to me.
We do make exceptions, and it can be amortized up to 20 years to be repaid by age 65. It can also stay at age 70 if they have the ability to repay after age 65, as previously mentioned.
Right. So having a conversation with your bank, because your financial circumstances could change. You may sell that property, understand other issues, but having that conversation as candidly as you can, as open and honestly, so that they understand your objective. You know what? You have house A and you want to get up to house B, C, D, and E. All right, Mr. John, talk to us, man. This is exciting. Banking is fun.
Thank you. And interest rate as well is variable on our mortgages. We offer in fixed rates or variable rates. It's been very competitive. And as you notice, because of prime rate going up, which is now at 8.5%. The Fed is meeting again in December. Chances are it may go up, but we don't know.
Want to take bets?
We don't have a crystal ball. But as you know, Sterling, as well, when there are issues in the world, such as a war or other economic conditions, sometimes rates don't change. So we have to wait and see how that will pan out.
Yeah, I almost want to joke and say, but Democrats in the White House, but I won't do that.
And for work permit holders, we're offering 90% financing. And we've changed from 20 years up to 30 years for work permit holders. Many of them get PR, and so they can get loans for a longer period as well. We offer for non-residents too who may want to purchase a vacation home, where the injection is 30% up to $1 million, 40% over $1 million, and the term is up to 20 years.
And of course, so that non-resident who's here providing you with the information you request can also benefit from our banking sector.
Yes, they can. And many, as you know, in the Cayman Islands have their retirement home, especially this time of year. They come down, between October and April.
Yeah.
We're also offering 100% solar panels financing in 3 stages. 1, if you're an existing client of Cayman National, we'll offer you 100% financing added to the existing mortgage. It is added over the remaining term of the loan or the term being extended. We're waiving the 1% commitment fee, and interest rate is 0.25% less than the existing mortgage rate. We also will give you the option of having interest-only payments for 3 months, as it takes time to install solar. And if you're an existing Cayman National client and you also want to take advantage of having a standalone loan, we will give you 100% financing up to 20 years at 6.5% fixed for 5 years. So when that 5 years is up, again, if we're offering a fixed rate at that time, our available rate will give you that option to choose from. The 1% commitment fee is waived, and across the board, the 3 months. In this case, we would defer the loan payment for 3 months. For any new clients who wish to transfer their mortgage to Cayman National, we're also offering 100% solar financing as well. The loan to value of 80% or less, and the term can be 30 to 40 years depending whether you're a work permit holder or a Caymanian. Again, the commitment fee is waived across the board, and in this case, it's interest-only payments for the first 3 months. By talking about Go Green initiative, I also want to expand whereby it's not just only purchasing of solar panels, there are solar batteries, there are electric hybrid vehicles, and there are also clean gas propane solutions, such as propane-powered dryers, water heaters, stove, and outdoor grilling. There are LED lighting and energy smart upgrades, energy smart shutters, and generators, to just name a few. I think we all as individuals have to play our carbon footprint in making a difference in this world.
And I think that's where that tie in now, as you shared, you want to get the generational business. Ms. Camille, your office and your team must be heavily inundated with many applications, huh?
Many applications. We have our lending website, which is lending@caymannational.com, where customers can send us any information, any queries. Even if they download our application, they can put it online, send it through us. So it's been very, very busy for us with applications, yes.
And so once people complete those applications, the requisite documentation that is required is there. They can submit it, they can get a feedback.
Right. Our first page on the application outlines all the requirements, all that you would need to submit to us for us to process the application pretty much.
Yeah. And Mr. John, you referenced earlier, in addition to the job letter and all the other things, there's a character reference. Just for emphasis, let people understand that that's not your spouse or your brother giving you, but it could be a co-worker, or is the reference specifically from a particular type of person, a character reference for that prospective borrower that you're asking for?
The character reference should not be from a family member. It should be like from a professional. It could be their pastor. It could be an accountant. It could be someone that they know, but not a family member. And that's when it comes to establishing the bank account.
Right.
For the lending side, because of the bank account being established, we would have access to that
Those
data
information.
so that we don't have to ask the client to get it over again.
Okay. And thanks, because I think many times when we open up an account, we get a reference from somebody without realizing that it's not. Yeah. Talk to us, Mr. John. Time flies when having fun, huh?
Yes. We also have a switch mortgage and consolidation of debts campaign, whereby we're offering 95% financing for Caymanians and 90% financing for work permit holders. We do have customers that experience hardship, and our job is to assist them with their financial needs. So whether it comes to taking your vehicle loan, your land loan, your mortgage, your furniture loan, consumer loans, we can put it all into one umbrella so that we can make the payments affordable for you. And in addition to that, I would like to speak about credit cards. Our credit cards offer a world of opportunities. We offer standard MasterCards, Gold MasterCard, Visa Infinite credit card, and of course our Visa Business credit cards as well. Our Visa Infinite credit card is very prestigious and it works just like a black card. We start with a limit of $20,000. The minimum income is $100,000 or 84,000 Cayman dollars to qualify. We factor other source of revenue as well to qualify. They're not just from your normal salary, but if you have rental income as well, we can factor that there. Some of the great benefits are travel accidental insurance up to $1.5 million, 10,000 bonus reward points upon activation of the card. You also have 24/7 worldwide customer care services when you book your ticket, hotel, car rental, restaurant, sightseeing tours, and other opportunities. You have daily cash withdrawal up to $5,000, auto rental, insured journey for $50,000, and an important one is international emergency medical services up to $200,000, and many other benefits. We can produce cards for emergency. Let's say you have to be flown off the island for medical reasons within 24 hours. Credit limit increases are also granted within 24 hours. Our cards are produced in-house. There's a quick turnaround time. And once a credit card payment is made online, funds are available immediately on your card. We also have 23 ATMs strategically located within all 3 islands, with 2 in Cayman Brac and 1 in Little Cayman. So from East End to West Bay, we have our ATMs.
I think the widest network across the Cayman Islands, I think you have.
Yes. And in addition to that, I know we're pressed for time. We also have card alert or card notification placed on your phone or by email whenever a card is utilized. Transaction appears on your phone or by email. We also have an automatic fraud protection service that sends your verification code when you're ordering online at specific merchants. You'll have to use this code to process the transaction. If a fraudster tries to use your card online at specific merchants, they will not have the Cayman National Bank Limited provided code and will not be able to get through with transactions. We also have an in-house chargeback team available to assist with any transactions that are disputed by our clients. And finally, I would like to end by saying Cayman National won the prestigious 2022 Bank of the Year from the Bankers magazine. We also won the Best Bank in the Cayman Islands from the Best of Cayman competition voted by our local community. Thank you, local community. 2024 marks our 50th anniversary. We celebrate on all 3 of our islands one legacy of trust, prosperity, and community. On 28th of January 2024 is when we celebrate 50 years of Cayman National being in existence. And we're also the title sponsor of the Cayman Islands Cancer Society's Stride Against Cancer, where we'll play an integral role in the fundraising event. For the year 2024, it will be filled with donations of all sorts. Sustainability donations will consist of 3 planting with the Ministry of Sustainability, and as well as the Chamber of Commerce, Earth Day, beach cleanup. In our community, we will continue to offer our support to all public schools and youth initiatives, as we believe our youth are our future. And let's not forget our culture and heritage. So look out for next year's International Fishing Tournament invitations as well. We also, with digital computers, will be launching our TeleX functionality, where customers will have the opportunity to do more transactions out of intelligent teller machines called ITMs and speak to real-time to a teller. Our ITM are located at our Cape Customer Service Center, of which Camille is a part of, and at our Countryside Customer Service Center. Please follow our social media, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, The Compass, and various radio stations. I would like to thank Radio Cayman for giving us this opportunity for Camille and I to offer our services at Cayman National. And to all three of our islands, we're here to assist you through your life cycle. Thank you.
Mr. Louis, thanks. And Ms. Camille.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Looking forward to when you and our other members of your team come back on again very soon. And understanding the importance of not just what banking is, but what Cayman National has been for 50 years, Making Mr. Benson proud, man. Him and Mr. Truman.
Yes. Mr. Benson Ebanks, of course, we have Truman Borden.
Yeah.
We also have Mr. Peter Tompkins.
Yeah.
We also have Arthur Hunter, who was a founding member as well. Mr. Daniel Simmons, too, and a few others.
Indeed.
So they're the ones that formed our Cayman National, and here we are today.
50 years later.
Yep.
Well, thanks very much, Mr. John.
Thank you.
And Ms. Camille, hopefully
Thank
we'll
you.
chat again. And to our listeners, after the news we come back, we'll get this opportunity, hopefully in very short order, to talk more to the good folks over at CNB. All right, stay tuned. Join us after.
Thank you.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman. We've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
In international headlines, Rosalind Carter embarked on her final journey today to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Center as her family began 3 days of memorials for the former First Lady and global humanitarian who died on November 19th at the age of 96. Family included Rosalind Carter's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, who watched as her casket was placed in a hearse this morning outside Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in the Carter's native Sumter County in southern Georgia. The motorcade made its first stop at Rosalind Carter's alma mater, the nearby Georgia Southwestern State University. From there, the family motorcade began its trip of more than 140 miles to Atlanta, where Rosalind Carter will lie in repose at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum. Facebook parent Meta Platforms deliberately engineered its social platforms to hook kids and knew, but never disclosed it had received millions of complaints about underage users on Instagram. It only disabled a fraction of those accounts, according to a newly unsealed legal complaint described in reports from the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. The complaint, originally made public in redacted form, was the opening salvo in a lawsuit filed in late October by the Attorneys General of 33 states. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And just prior with a wonderful discussion of Mr. John Lewis and Ms. Camille Gardner over at CNB, that idea of banking, now we get a chance to focus on education. Mr. Amanda Roberts, I'm so glad that, for this year. I've seen you many times formally in this setting, so it's good to see you again.
Thank you, Sterling. Thanks for having us. I'm sure you're getting a bit fed up of us, but we are on the last bit of the full recruitment for boarding schools, and then you won't see me again until January. So.
Listen, that'll be too long. It's always a pleasure. You can never get fed up with seeing you, Mom. It's not just an infectious smile, but the idea that we're talking education, we provide opportunities to complement what is on offer here to what is on offer elsewhere, and I'm excited to learn more. Now, you want to do the introduction of your sister?
Just too charming.
Tell you.
Yes, we've got my daughter Louisa here, who is was a former student at Trinity College School, and Rebecca De Silva, who is the admissions officer there, who is also an alum of the school. So they know a lot about the school as well. I was a parent with all three children for over 11 years, I think it was, a span of 11 years. So obviously a bit dear to our hearts, as well as being just a great school.
We might be a little biased.
You know what? Sometimes, I look at it the other way. The people who are still part of the organization that they were initially, sometimes in some senses way back when, almost being, can we say, encouraged, use that word today, but to come back and return as an employee, as an ambassador, it tells that the experience in itself couldn't have been all bad. So before Miss Rebecca jumps in, young Miss Roberts, I remember you. The early days, and your dad she's gone, my little girl.
Yeah, I'm a little grown up now. So I moved back to Cayman. I live here full time. I'm a recruiter at Stepping Stones Recruitment. But I am very proud of the time that I spent at boarding school at Trinity College. So I was there for all 4 years. I will date myself a bit, but I was there from 2009 to 2013. And yeah, had a really great experience. So I'm very proud to be an ambassador. We call it like an old girl, So yeah, happy to be here today to chat a bit about my experience and to hopefully just supplement some of Rebecca's maybe facts with some of my stories. Yeah.
If that would be fine, because I think many times, Ms. Amanda, we've spoken in the past about it. It used to be that boarding school had this particular perception. It's no longer. The child actually is encouraging the parents.
Yes, we don't send children to boarding school anymore. You're quite right. It's and when we're talking teenagers, very much it's them who must lead the charge, because that's the only way it's really going to make a success of it. They need to be engaged and motivated and be ready to get the most out of the school. And TCS, Trinity, is one of those schools that has a lot to offer, and it's kind of full on. So you need to be a willing participant to get the most out of it, and then bring those skills that you learn once you've gone on to college, perhaps, and then come back to Cayman.
Indeed. So before I ask Mr. Silva, from your perspective, Ms. Roberts, the idea that, and I'll be sensitive to it, but I'm recognizing that we're young, we're full of energy, and we still know where we are, where we want to go. If you had to do it all over, would you want to do it? And if so, well.
Yeah, great question. I begged to go to boarding school.
I remember.
It helps that my older brother was also there, but it was very much my choice. And I had a lot of friends who said, "What did you do? Why are you getting sent away?" And I was like, no. It was very much my choice, and I absolutely would make the same decision again. In fact, I'd love to go back right now. It's a beautiful school. So it's I definitely I wouldn't change anything about it. It was a wonderful experience.
And I appreciate you sharing that, because it's not just what the oldest sibling may do, and it's not escaping from your space, your parents. It's you may not appreciate
the opportunities that were made available to me. So I was very, I think, very blessed, very lucky to be given that opportunity, for it to be my choice, but also to be supported by my parents, supported financially by Trinity College, who helped with my tuition as well. So it was a very, very supported decision on all fronts. So and definitely would do it all over again if I could.
And Ms. Amanda, this is where you've said this many times. As parents, we're creating this environment that we want our children to be independent, but we don't want them to leave. We want to know that they can navigate on their own, but we want to be there with them. And so we're creating this dynamic, and now, 10 years later, here is this young lady who is ready to take up the mantle and is a champion.
Yeah, we lost her to Canada for quite a long time with college afterwards, and 2 years working actually at another boarding school very close to Trinity. And and then over to England for a master's, and then eventually we got her back. But coming back, I think, you know, to the independence thing, that is really one of the things they're doing, college prep, not just in academics, but also in life skills. And so they're kind of, they're giving a bit more leeway as they go up the grades, and by the time they get to grade 12, they've got quite a lot of independence. But there's always that backup there and secure environment, and so it helps when they get to college, they're ready.
So, Mr. Silver, from that perspective, you know, we've come of age and understanding what education is, and I really thank both Miss Amanda and her younger sister for. I was going to be like, stop it, because we want that independence. We want them to be aware of the opportunities, but we want them to appreciate the global village that we hear so much about. From your perspective, not only is there's this prep in these formative years, especially those last 4, but then the university setting. So share with us what TCS offers in that perspective.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point too, right? It goes so far beyond just excelling academically. We want to give students the time and the space and the resources to really realize what's important to them and how they can contribute. And, you know, you see that at TCS, like so much education happening outside of the classroom, and being able to bridge things like service learning trips. For example, there's one going to Ecuador this year, and like how are you taking that learning and applying it not only back to your school community? That community becomes so tight knit, and it's so important that we lead with kindness and caring, and being able to take that forward into your life, not only feeling prepared in a meaningful way academically, but also how you're going to move forward and contribute in a meaningful way in university and beyond.
Yeah. Your sense of consciousness and connectivity, and that thing that sort of brings the community. I mean, the service trips, Ms. Roberts, they're not a vacation, but yet they are in a sense, right?
Yeah, they're definitely not a vacation. You're there to learn, you're there to work and stuff. But it allows you to see the world from a different perspective, for you to get outside of your own bubble, from your home community, but also from your school community, and to see the world in a different light. And then to take what you've learned and decide what type of person you want to be, how do you want to contribute to society? What type of person in your society do you want to be? So, yeah, absolutely. It's talking about the person as a whole, you know, that holistic approach of not just academic, not just an athlete, but also who you are, you know, and taking those values forward with you into your grown-up life. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break, but when you come back, I mean, there's an event tomorrow evening, so we want to talk a little bit about that, but also, you know, what life is like. What are some of the offerings academically and otherwise, and get people to appreciate that these are important years in the life of a person. They need to be safe and nurturing, but they need to be enriching and challenging and all these things, and they shouldn't wait till you're 40 to realize where you're going, right? All right. What do you think? After the break, Miss Amanda? We can do it?
Absolutely.
All right. Join us right after. Stay tuned, please.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
Enjoy Cayman Thanksgiving this Sunday with local favorite dishes like Cayman stew beef, turtle, whelk, lobster, grouper, snapper, conch chowder, cassava cake, and more.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And thanks and welcome back, and thanks to Miss Amanda Roberts over Normandy. I love learning, and I think as your wonderful daughter shared, she wished she was back there, because there is this thing about knowledge acquisition, but sharing what you know, not to be ostentatious, but to be able to inspire. So as we talk about, more of the orphans over at TCS over in Canada, tonight, I hear you have...
Tomorrow.
Thank you. No, hey, listen, yesterday I spent the whole day planning even Friday stuff. Why is that the work ethic? I don't know. Tuesday, today is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow evening, Tuesday. What are we having? Where is it?
We're going to have Rebecca from Trinity College School doing a presentation, and there'll be a reception and meet and greet, and we'll have some refreshments at the Compass Loft, 6:30. And come along. We'd like you to let us know you're coming, of course, so you can RSVP if you find our adverts on in the Compass or on various websites and Facebook pages. There's a QR code or there's some links, or you can call me on 936-3676, but that's tomorrow night at the Compass Loft.
6:30 p.m., right?
Yes.
Miss Rebecca, for those who are listening and are encouraged to attend, what is it even going to be like? What are they going to learn? And maybe you can share some of it tonight, but tomorrow evening, what will they be learning? What are you going to be sharing with us?
Yeah, I think it's so important for students when they're looking at making a change and exploring boarding school in particular, is to be able to research it and obviously we love when families are able to come and visit campus, because I think it's really important for students to get a vibe of a school. But that's really my job, is to try and bring that vibe on these trips and to families that aren't necessarily able to visit campus. So just hearing from our students, there's some videos, and that's what I love about TCS too, is that students like Louisa and myself, they just love sharing their story. They're proud of their school. They love to talk about it. So hearing from our students, our head of school, and just understanding a bit better of the offerings across athletics and arts and service that are available for students.
Yeah. If I might add, or I'd have to ask you this actually, is something similar, but for those who are listening, we know that Trinity College School is in Canada. For those who are better at geography than I am, it's a big place. So where in Canada, and how is that? Give us a little perspective.
Yeah, so TCS, we are located in the province of Ontario, about an hour east of Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the setting of the campus.
Yeah, we're in a small, safe town. Port Hope is quite beautiful in the boutique type shops. So students love being able to go down there with their friends and grab coffee. There's a few really lovely pizza places that students love. But definitely that quieter, small town vibe. We are lucky to have 100 acres of campus. So students are able to enjoy that as well.
And I guess for me, coming from Cayman, driving 100 miles doesn't seem far in a sense. For some people, 5 miles. In the Ontario area, there are other universities, and there's other higher institutions beyond what's within 100-mile radius or 50-mile radius of TCS. There's some other universities close by as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So there are some great Ontario-based universities that are close by, and a lot of the students that come to TCS, like that is a path that they choose. Some choose to go to universities in the States and the UK. Some go back home, but yes, Ontario universities are.
Yeah. And I think I thank you, Shana, because from your perspective, you've left Cayman, you're there. The weather's a little bit different. I think it gets cold sometimes.
The weather is very different, not a little bit.
Only sometimes.
Hey, listen, even in August, it's cold for me.
It's like anywhere. It's got good days in it, but also it has beautiful days. I find my favorite type of day is when it's snowing, but it's really like clear sky blue. It's cold, but it's like beautiful and sunny. And fall, you get seasons, right? It's so wonderful to experience something different from what you have here. You get fall, you get winter, you get spring, you get all 4 seasons, which is wonderful. And the campus is beautiful in all of those seasons. The spring is very special. Everyone's outside, everyone's spending time together. But in the winter, you get snow, you get to do winter activities. So yeah, it is different. But I worked at an outdoor education school for 2 years, and I learned there, dress for your day, dress for the day you're having. So if you dress well and you wear your jacket, and like when I was a student at Trinity and I never wore my jacket, never wore my boots, was wearing sneakers, or like was always barefoot if it was not cold. So yeah, like if you dress for your day, it's wonderful. But it's just nice to experience something different from what we grew up with here.
Yes, well, that was the thing. The girls, of course, didn't want to wear the puffy jackets and over their nice clothes if they were going across for a dance or something. So we'd be in high heels slithering on the ice and a glittery dress and getting freezing cold because they didn't want to wear the puffy jackets.
All the memories that stay with you, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh wow, yeah.
Well, for you though, I mean, Mr. Silva, you've come from, you were a student and now you're there. What has it been like? You were there, you lived there, that's home, for Miss Roberts. We're leaving here to go there. For you, you're leaving down the street and going next door, so to speak. Similar experience in terms of being on campus, the 100 acres, and experiencing the seasons. Any particular things that stand out in those formative years?
Yeah, when I came back to TCS to work, I felt like I was coming back home. And I think as a day student, the benefit for me was being in a boarding environment. Having a school that's majority boarding means that it's a 24/7 place, right? The teachers that are working there are also living on campus. They're your home away from home, and being involved in sports all 3 terms, going to dinner with my boarding friends, like it was always there, and just such a special time in my life. Yeah.
Now, with that, and this is where I think as we look, Ms. Wanda, we had these discussions in the past. It's about complementing what's available. You know, your own personal example, school in here, school in there, school in there. A child can have multiple opportunities to continue education in many different countries. That speaks well to the development.
Yes, and that's it. There's no bar to going on to university, as Rebecca said, anywhere really. If you've got that solid education behind you, and they obviously have the guidance counsellors to help you on that path to find your right university, and then coming back. I mean, as Dawn and Day, we look at many schools, and they have to fit the. We try to get the best match for the child, but I have found that Trinity is one that delivers for many families, and they have a solid base in Cayman, and it definitely works well for a lot of Cayman families. They've got probably more alumni than any other school I know here in Cayman.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, it's from that perspective. But Mr. Silva, that not only makes your job rewarding, but somewhat challenging as well, because there is an expectation, there is knowledge that's been acquired and passed down, not just 10 years ago, but for some, it goes back even longer than that. They went there and they know what it was like. They've seen some of the changes. How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it intriguing? How do you ensure that the school now is the school that the parent went to and the child is now considering sending her daughter to?
Gosh, you say that, and I think that tradition piece is so important, though, right? The values of the school haven't changed. So while experiences might be different, the facilities that exist now that didn't exist when Louisa and I were students, I think those things have changed. But ultimately, the way that TCS makes students feel like family when they're at the school, and having those connections after you leave, like, it's just such a special place in that regard.
If I can just say as well, for the parents as well, we very much felt like family. And I have to say, I really missed everybody when I left, when our kids had finished there. And, we used to go and stay on, rent somewhere to stay at Rice Lake and the beautiful countryside there. We used to walk around Port Hope and love the little shops. So, and then try and attend when you could, if we were up for parent-teacher weekends and things, as many of the functions at school as you could. Not everybody can do that, but we were lucky. So we did feel we're very much part of the family as much as the students were. And I think that gave us a sense as parents, it gave us a sense of comfort, and that the staff and the faculty were all very approachable. So that was really important, that you could sort of ring up and say, oh my gosh, I'm worried about this, that and the other or something, and at least have some comfort that everybody was all right.
And I'm hoping that as people listen, as they explore whatever options may be best for their families, that they look. We live in a time now where, unlike way back when you went to university or boarding school, you wrote home. There's a letter. The phone call was...
I had to write every Sunday when I was at boarding school.
Yeah, and now it's instantaneous if you want, And if I might, Ms. Roberts, some have shared with me as parents, they have a better relationship with their children. They're in more contact, not just about the academics, but their daily lives than they did,
I think, and I'll share, this is quite a personal thing, but I think my relationship with my parents is so strong because I went to boarding school. It made me really value the time that I got to spend with them when I would come home. I was excited to tell them about my day. I would ring them up. I mean, my first year I was very terrible at ringing home, but as I got older, but I'd ring them up. I'd love to tell them about everything, but honestly, I know a lot of families are concerned about their relationship with their child and what that looks like from afar. But for me, it strengthened that relationship, and it made me just really see the value and really appreciate the time that I got to spend with them. And even as an adult now moving home, having that foundation and knowing that they helped me make those great choices and helped me to follow the path that was the best for me. So yeah, it's difficult. You get homesick. I won't pretend you don't, but when you go to a wonderful school, there's so much support there. It does feel like a home. It does feel like a family. And like Rebecca said, it's 24/7. Like, there's support there for you the entire time. So yeah, you do get that full experience.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because it's, for some, I believe it's the parent or the parents that feel it more. The child is excited to go, and as a parent you want, but then you also worry.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell the families that come into Dorman Day, I'm not going to pretend that it isn't hard. It really is. When we first dropped Joe, and we had the farewell barbecue, and then we had to drive down the 401 to
the highway,
back to the airport, and we had Will in the car with us, and he was only small then, and he was like, we were like choking up, and he was saying, "Can we play I Spy?" And we were going, "No, dear, not just right now." And it was like, it is terribly hard. And then you get home and there's the empty bed, but then you start hearing about all the wonderful things they do. Going to restaurants. I think the first house outing Joe had was, I think, to a Vietnamese restaurant or something, which was like unheard of. Done that, and then all these house outings that they do, and where they go and go camping and things as well.
Travel and and you get to your world gets so much broader, and the experiences that you get to have, and then you get to call home and tell them about it, and you do get to experience them together, even if you're not at home every day.
It is, I think, important, but also at the same time, a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Parent and child, but it's essential.
Yeah.
And
I think, seeing that wider world and bringing it home again. And learning to live with other cultures. And I mean, we have a good mix here in Cayman, but even some students come from very far away, and you get to live with them as well. So you establish very strong bonds.
And you recognize that we are more alike than we are different. And I keep saying that.
And you get friends all over the world. So I've got friends. I feel like I could go to most countries and text someone and say, "I'm here. Do you want to meet up?" And I know people all over the world from my network, people who were in my year at school, but also were in other years at school. And the alumni network is something that's amazing to be a part of as well, even as you leave school and move on. And so there's, it's just, I can't speak highly of it enough, really.
Hearing you say that, I'm inclined to say that, from a shape, the world may be round, but from a personal dynamic, it's actually flat. If we leverage our bridges, right?
Exactly.
Well, Mr. Silva, from that perspective, tomorrow evening, Mr. Man, I got it right, 6:30. We'll focus on academics. We'll tell about the nurturing, safe environment. Any closing thoughts you would like to leave with our listeners, and then we'll ask Mr. Amanda to wrap it up. So tomorrow, tell us what you want to share to our listeners.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for families to research a bit more and find out. I also think that as a school, we have really prioritized making an independent school more accessible financially. So we have worked over the last few years to increase our financial assistance program to be able to cover more of the cost of tuition. So if families would like to come and have that conversation, happy to share as well.
All right.
Thank you so
Very
much.
important. Ms. Amanda?
Yes, well, thank you for having us again, Sterling, and we look forward to families coming out tomorrow evening at the Compass Loft, 6:30, and learn more about Trinity College School, which is obviously, as you can hear from what we've told you today, very, very dear to our hearts.
100 acres,
100 acres of home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
All right. So tomorrow evening, if they want, they can give you a call, or
Yes,
they can go and get...
Absolutely.
All right.
936-3676, and then come up. We'll get you registered and come along.
All right, thanks, both of you, and welcome home. Man.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. Well, I believe education is just not just what we acquire in the classroom. It's all the other learning that takes place in an environment that's nurturing and safe is truly, doing good for that child, but for the wider community. So thanks for being the champion, Miss Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Join us again tomorrow for more Talk Today. And as we go through the week, let's find where we can combine our hands and hearts to make our help that much more, beneficial. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.